this is a fight that, as it actually draws closer, I'm actually getting a little bit more excited for. Let's be honest, the undercard shit. We were promised that, you know, these DAZN shows, you're gonna be getting pay-per-view undercards on just normal shows. Eddie, the undercard's piss poor. It is a rubbish undercard. But yeah, all right, you know, you haven't stuck AJ on pay-per-view, so maybe, okay, the undercard's not going to be extra. But Anthony Joshua fights Jermaine Franklin. There's a reason why I'm actually intrigued about this fight.
Yeah.
And I think that Jermaine Franklin looked at his best when he started trading up with Dylan White. Yeah. Is that because that's when Jermaine Franklin's at his best, or is that because that's when Dylan White is maybe potentially at his weakest? Yeah, who knows? Who knows? You've seen Dylan White get caught and dropped and knocked spark out before when trading up with fighters, but Jermaine Franklin looked like he had quite quick hands on the inside and looked like he was willing at times to fight fire with fire. That is all wrong for Anthony Joshua. The way you beat Anthony Joshua is to outwork him like Usyk did, or do something that Usyk didn't do and throw at the same time as him. Yeah? So there you're two. You can outwork him on the outside, or you can throw at the same time as him. If you outwork him on the outside and you have the ability to do so, you've got a higher chance of beating him. Yeah, because when you go on the inside, it becomes a shootout, and that's a 50-50 no matter who you are. I do think that this could be a potential banana skin for Anthony Joshua. Yeah, I do. I'm not picking Anthony Joshua to lose the fight. I'm picking Anthony Joshua to maybe late round stoppage, but I could see him coming through a few sticky patches in this fight. How do you see it go? Is it a fight you're excited for?
Truth be told, it's probably one of the first AJ fights I'm not excited for. I'm a massive AJ fight. In terms of boxers I've seen live, he's the boxer I've seen the most. So before anyone says, oh, he's not an AJ fan, yeah, I am. He's the boxer I've seen the most, right? I just think it's a fight that, yes, Franklin did do well against White, like you said, but I just think with AJ, he's got his new trainer in now, new mentalities, a bit of a reset as well, because after what happened in that rematch against Usyk, all the shenanigans that happened, you know, he was really emotional, etc. He's had that break. I just think AJ's looking to clear him out in 4 rounds. I personally don't think Franklin is going to provide any issues for AJ.
Do you think we'll see destructive AJ?
I think he's going to be back. I just think AJ needs to put a statement here, especially if he wants to go back into the big fights, because you can't really, it's like you said earlier about the DAZN cards, you can't really say AJ's pay-per-view and then put him up against a Franklin, because then who are you going to put him up against next? You can't put him up another fighter of that ilk. You need someone top 5. I can't see him going to Park or anyone like that. So that means that it's going to be a big fight, whether that be a Wilder, a Fury, whatever. Even if Dillian White maybe.
A Dillian White rematch.
Probably a Dillian White rematch, like you said. But I just think AJ does need to put a clinical performance on Franklin, and that's what I think he will do.
The O2 Arena.
Yeah.
Has a capacity of just under 20,000?
Yeah, about 19,500 around that. Yeah.
So he hasn't been there in a good couple of years. It's no secret that Anthony Joshua's pay-per-view numbers have been declining. However, there's always an asterisk next to that, because when you see the decline of pay-per-view numbers, it is in correlation with the rise of illegal streams. Yeah? Now, I, for one, know absolutely nothing about IPTV or The Dark Knight, but... It is in correlation.
No, it is true. It's true.
Sticks and have the illegal streams and whatnot, yeah? Allegedly. But something that's sort of given a lot more weight to the theory that his popularity has massively declined, he's not sold out the O2 Arena. We're a week away from fight night, and there's still a couple of thousand tickets up for grabs.
Yeah.
Why is it? Why has AJ not been able to sell out the O2 Arena? Surely, when you've boxed in your last fight in front of, what, 70,000 at Spurs? 60, 70,000? Yeah? I mean, last fight in the UK, I know obviously he had the rematch out in Saudi and whatnot. When you go from selling out the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to not being able to fill the O2 Arena, something's gone wrong.
It's like you said earlier about the boxers, dance partners are key. I think Franklin doesn't really capture the imagination. He's not really someone where I think, okay, AJ's got a potential, decent fight on his hands here. I think that's one thing. I think secondly, being dealt with by Usyk in the manner that he did, because I know that some of the scorecards might have been closer than people thought, but I think AJ did get beat quite convincingly by Usyk. That's probably given people the idea that maybe AJ isn't as good. The undercard doesn't help. I mean, personally, if I was Eddie Hearn, I'd get Joey Knight on the undercard, but that's just my opinion, right? The thing is, that doesn't help as well, because as a boxing fan, you want, value for money as well, especially in the cost of living crisis. If you're paying 60 quid, which is what I think the cheapest seats are at the O2, and the only fight you're really interested in is AJ Franklin. Again, AJ Franklin. It's not something that you're like, wow. Like I said earlier, I love going to AJ fights. This is probably the first AJ fight where he's been fighting in the UK, and I'm just there like, not really interested in going. And a part of it is because of who he's fighting. It's just, I think AJ's going to deal with him really easily. I don't think there's going to be any issues. And as a result, that's probably a reason why a lot of boxing fans aren't interested. But then it does go back to what you said as well, Joey, about the meltdown that happened. A lot of people have seen AJ. This is what they think anyway. His true colours, the mask has slipped. I see that so much, especially I saw that a lot actually when he came out after the press conference, all that thing happened. They were like, oh, AJ's a fraud. He's always been like this. He's been fake. A lot of people coming out with that.
There was the thing around the time, sorry to interrupt you, but it was the thing around the time of the Black Lives Matter thing.
Yeah, a lot of people.
He made some controversial comments.
Right, so a lot of people jumped on him with that as well. And I just think people need to take a bit of a step back with that. And a lot of it was taken out of context, in my opinion, as well. But the thing is, a lot of people saw that happen after the Usyk fight and they thought, yeah, that's it, we're going to go into AJ now, we're not really interested in that, coupled with Fury's rise as well. Fury's always been a people's champion, man of the people, etc. That hasn't helped as well. And I just think going forward, AJ needs a big fight if he wants to sell out the O2.
Do you know what he should have done if he wanted to remain popular? Around that time people started saying, well, the mask slipped now.
Yeah.
Be the bad guy.
Yeah.
Be the bad guy. Because you know who no one cares about? The one in the middle. Oh, yeah, he's all right. I don't really dislike him, but I don't like him. Well, you're not going to watch him. The likes of Floyd Mayweather had people tuning in for pay-per-views for the best part of 15 years to watch him lose. Eubank Sr., Eubank Jr. sort of semi-takes that role. I like Eubank Jr.
Yeah.
Eubank, listen, he's not everyone's cup of tea, do you know what I mean? But I like Eubank Jr. because I get it, you know what I mean? I can look at a lot of these boxers and I'm like, yeah, man, I get it. People go, oh, I hate Jake Paul, No, mate, like, have a brain. Do you know what I mean? Have a brain inside your head. They don't mean these things they're saying. Unfortunately, AJ is a lot less media savvy than people think he is. Tyson Fury used to say, AJ's a businessman, I'm a fighter. AJ might be a businessman, but AJ's not as media savvy as people think, yeah? Say, for example, the Black Lives Matter comments. I don't really want to get into that, but what I will say, it's not very smart sort of thing. Bearing in mind, you could be potentially upsetting people that are the ones that are lining your pockets for pay-per-views, stuff like that. Now, listen, people might come at me and say, well, some things are more important. I understand that. I'm not saying he shouldn't have done it. I'm saying if I am his PR manager, these are maybe things that I would put to him, yeah? Okay? 3 losses in 5 fights does not help. And when you look at 2 of them losses and say, oh, he sort of went out of a whimper, you know what I mean? The Andy Ruiz loss weren't that bad because you had him off the canvas.
Exactly.
You had dropped him. It was a bit of a firefight. It's not the worst one. But the Usyk ones, people that don't understand boxing as much, and that's not me putting them down, but they might go, oh, you went out of a whimper, you didn't really try. You can only really do what your opponent allows you to do when they're that skillful. So sometimes your opponent will nullify you to an extent where you just can't make it an interesting fight. If AJ does come through this fight how you're anticipating him to, I'll be very interested to see the public perception on him and what the hunger is for, whether that be for a 3rd fight with Dillian Whyte. Obviously, it would be their 2nd as a professional. They had to fight in the amateurs as well. Maybe we see the Tyson Fury avenue explored again, which could potentially happen. Or whether we go on to see AJ against someone else. I'll be interested to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. And also, just to cap this video off, there is a cost of living crisis going on. And regardless of what Eddie says, this is a pay-per-view, okay? Because you're paying to view the fight. That makes it pay-per-view, yeah? You are paying to view this fight. Whether you pay and sign up for a year and get it for $9.99 a month or whatever, you do have to get DAZN to watch this fight. If it doesn't entice you enough to think I'm going to buy and watch this fight, I will be live streaming my and a cast of guests' reaction to this fight on my channel on YouTube, Joey Knight Podcast. Go on there. The stream will start at 8 and we'll go on until after the AJ fight. We'll be talking all things boxing, all things AJ, all things football, and a few other bits and pieces. So definitely get on there for that.